In the previous lecture, we learned how to style different HTML elements using CSS selectors like h1, h2, p, and li. However, if you look at our CSS file, you'll notice something repetitive. Almost every selector has the exact same font family property, that is sans serif. We're repeating the same line over and over again. While this works perfectly fine, it's not considered good CSS practice because it creates unnecessary duplication. Imagine that later you decide to change the font from sans serif to another font. You have to update every single selector individually. This takes extra time, increase the chance of making mistakes. Instead, CSS gives us a much better solution. We can combine multiple selectors into a single selector. To do that, simply separate each selector with a comma. For example, I have to take h1, h2, h3, h4, paragraph, and alike. And just simply copying this and pasting it here. So notice that commas between each selector. This tells CSS select all these elements and apply the same style. So I can remove the remaining. Now we only write the property once. Our code becomes much cleaner and much easier to maintain. If we ever want a different font, we only change it once in one place. For example, I want to make this as serif, which is default. When I refresh this, see, so after changing, when I refresh this, the font changes. You can notice the change now also. So before moving on, let's make one small improvement to our HTML. So inside this footer, it's nothing but we have an footer. It also has a paragraph. So instead of plain text, we have now, we'll wrap the copyright inside a paragraph element. This makes footer consistent with the rest of the page. Now we can style it just like every other paragraph. Now suppose we want the footer paragraph to have a smaller font size. If we change in one paragraph, the whole paragraphs in this will change. This is where another type of selector becomes useful. This is called descendant selector. So this paragraph is inside a footer element. So we can write like this: footer paragraph, and we can declare the font size of 16 pixels. When we save this, you can notice the change here. This means select every paragraph that is inside a footer. After saving the file, only the footer paragraph becomes smaller. The rest of the paragraph stay exactly the same. This makes our CSS much more precise. We can write another example. In a header, we have paragraph. So I want to make it italic. This one as italic. So as you can see, this changes into italic, but I'll show you. So as you can see, there are two headers, but when I keep something here, as you can see, the text also becomes italic, but I want only this one as italic. So here comes another one. We can add an two descendants. So this header is in the article and this one is not in an article. We can add that. When we refresh the page, only this gets italic, but not this one. So I'll just remove this. So it is also called nested descendant selectors. Our CSS now depends heavily on the HTML structure. If we later change the HTML, these selectors may stop working correctly. That's why we should avoid creating selectors that are too deeply nested. The more your CSS depends on your HTML structure, the harder your project becomes to maintain. And that's it for this lesson. We'll continue them in the next session.